across to Congress's Manish Tiwari, who is now speaking on the very controversy of Rahul Gandhi meeting the Chinese envoy, the flip-flop from the Congress. Here's Congress's response.
On Dhokla or Dhoklam is not possible. And may I follow that up by asking that what was the Minister for Human Resource Development, Mr. Prakash Javadekar, doing in Beijing? And may I follow that up by asking that what was the Minister for Culture, and this is all on the 6th and 7th of July, Mr. Mahesh Sharma, what was he doing in Beijing? And may I follow this up by asking that what was the Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Mr. J.P. Nadda, also doing in China at the same time? And may I also follow this up by asking that why is an India Foundation delegation, which has the same symbiotic relationship with the government as possibly the Vivekananda International Foundation has, which is headed by the General Secretary of the BJP, Mr. Ram Madhav, why is the delegation of the India Foundation now in China after two of their researchers were refused a visa? So therefore, let's get real about it and let's put things in a certain perspective. In the normal course of business, people do meet other people, and people in public life do try and acquaint themselves with the facts, and therefore we would first welcome answers to all these questions from either the government or those who have raised them, and we have nothing further to say on this issue. This stands closed. मैं इसको हिंदी में दोहरा मैं इसको हिंदी में दोहरा देता हूं। अजय झा जी ने जो एएनआई से संपर्क रखते हैं इसके बारे में पूछा था। देखिए, सवाल ये है कि सार्वजनिक जीवन में अपने कार्यशैली के अनुसार कांग्रेस के उपाध्यक्ष बहुत सारे लोगों से मिलते हैं, उसमें कूटनीतिज्ञ भी शामिल हैं, बाहर के मुल्कों के जो
Congress hiding behind now the courtesy call justification. But the question here remains, what was the need to hide it first? If the Congress Vice President did meet the Chinese envoy, which has been corroborated with the Chinese embassy's official website as well. Yes, there was a meeting on July 8th. Why is it that the Congress was caught on the back foot? Why the denial first and now the acceptance? Even while Manish Tiwari says the fundamental question is the fact that courtesy calls can be given, that Congress Vice President has full right to meet the envoys of different states. But the fact is, why hide it first? India Today's Gaurav Sawant also joining us on this matter. Gaurav, it seems that Congress is trying desperately to do damage control after the initial denial, then the acceptance, now finger pointing at the ruling party.
You know, this indeed is a very curious case. The denial that came from the Congress initially, then the acceptance, and the fact that the Chinese ambassador to India, he put out a statement, a picture on the Chinese website and then removed it. So that makes it very, very curious. Manish Tiwari, former Information and Broadcasting Minister, is absolutely right. India is a democracy. You're free to meet anyone you may want to meet. And foreign ambassadors, they routinely meet Indian leaders and opposition leaders and so on. So there is nothing to hide there. There is nothing wrong there. But why hide it? That's point one. And point two, why would China also first, their ambassador to India, put out something on the website and then remove it from the website? This is, very eerily similar to what the Chinese ambassador had done earlier on the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, when he'd earlier put out a speech saying that, China was willing to rename the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor if that would help India, and then, remove that completely from his speech. So when you're a responsible nation, you do things very systematically. When you don't do it, are questions raised. Again, Manish Tiwari asking the question, why did Prime Minister Narendra Modi meet the Chinese President Xi Jinping in Hamburg? Or why were 3 union ministers in Beijing? It's for the government to respond. But, sources in the Ministry of External Affairs say that there are many aspects to India's multi-layered relationship with China. You have issues of divergence and you have issues of convergence. On the issues of divergence, we are taking them head on, whether it's on the nuclear suppliers group or Maulana Masood Azhar. But there are several issues of convergence also with China.
Absolutely. And Gaurav, here is the point. If the vice president of the opposition party is meeting the Chinese envoy, the fact that the Congress spokesperson calls it first a plugged news as well, and then goes on record saying, yes, there have been meeting with envoys. What is going on with the principal opposition party in the country? Is Rahul Gandhi also losing control over his own house?
That is something that the Congress party must respond to, because technically, politically, there is nothing wrong in engaging with other ambassadors, or it's done routinely, or foreign ambassadors meeting politicians, whether from the Congress or the BJP or the JDU or any other political party. Several ambassadors, they travel across the country meeting opposition leaders, meeting state governments. It's a part of democracy. Engagement is a part of democracy in a federal structure, whether it's with the central government or with state governments. It happens at multiple levels. But the denial, the fact that it's being done in hiding and then kabhi haan, kabhi na, that's the curious aspect here.
Absolutely. And interestingly, Gaurav, the Congress Vice President, who has tweeted earlier and said that why is the Prime Minister silent on China, he's quick to respond, silent now when this controversy is playing out in the public domain. The Congress spokesperson flip-flop, and Manish Tiwari saying the issue is closed for us. Congress Vice President still silent.
Yes, and that is where, what was this conversation about? The fact that Rahul Gandhi also met Bhutan's ambassador to India, the fact that he also met Shiv Shankar Menon, former national security advisor and a very well-respected diplomat. It all goes on to show that this conversation must have been about the current standoff along, the India-China-Bhutan tri-junction, where India is standing up for Bhutan's interests. And on issues of foreign policy, by and large, we've seen that the government and the opposition are together, because there you then present an India first face to an adversary or to someone who you're dealing with in a situation like this. So that is why perhaps a little more clarification from the Congress party and also from China, why the denial initially and the acceptance later, because there was nothing wrong. There is no illegality, there's no immorality, there's nothing wrong in engaging with diplomats and politicians. It happens all the time. So why hide it is the curious aspect of the story.
Absolutely, the denial only raising the suspicion bar. Thanks so much, Gaurav, for joining us on this story. Perhaps more clarification, as Gaurav said, should be coming forth from the Congress party. A full disclosure is what the BJP is also demanding from the meeting. Thanks, Gaurav, for joining us.